Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Monday Live Lighting Critique. We had a little bit of a hiccup there, but we are back and we are live. And today what I'm going to be doing is taking you all through some student lighting work. And so let's get started with that. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And so again, what we're going to be doing is every Monday and Friday, going to be trying to do some live critiques so you guys can see what the students are up to, get an idea of the type of work that's being submitted, the type of feedback that we're giving, and we're also just going to be taking a look at lighting and just talking through some of the artistic side of things. A quick announcement before we get started. Tomorrow, anyone who's a SIGGRAPH attendee, Jasmine and I are going to be hosting a Birds of a Feather called The Secrets from a Lighting Artist, and just like a little behind the scenes stuff into what it's like to be a lighting artist on animated films. And just talking you through, Jasmine and I feel very passionately about the artistic side of this work, and so we're going to be talking about that a lot. We're going to be doing some walkthroughs and just talking all things lighting. It'll be a lot of fun. So if you are a member of SIGGRAPH, make sure that you attend, and we are looking forward to have you there. So without much further ado, let's get started. I'm going to go and shift because my screen's over here, and don't want you to think I'm not looking at you. Okay. Well, first off, we have Emma here who submitted a submission from our Power of Light course, and this is just a reference look to get a good analysis of lighting from another animated film, just something that you can start to talk about. And I really like this submission because there's really great upward lighting on these characters. I really like somebody in the comment section pointed out how we were able to get separation from the background because we have this framing element in here of this wall, and then it's creating these complex shapes, and then her simple shapes are able to pop off. The slight value difference between her and him to really get us to focus in here is really nice. And then just the overall color scheme, like even though this is all kind of universally a cool tone, just this slight separation, this little bit more yellow behind her allows her blue tones to pop forward. So I think that's really nice. And then it would just be nice. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go a little bit more rimmy up the hand here because it feels like the hand pose is very important to the shot, and that would have been a nice one to see. So really great submission, Emma. I just wanted to share that with everyone because I think that's really cool stuff. So Forrest, good progression. I think this framing is working out really well. We talked last time about getting some warmth in this area and isolating the coolness to the center, and I think that's working out really well. The one thing I would say is that I would like to pull down the value in the surrounding. So anything outside of here, we need to make this area brighter and then this whole area darker out here. Let's go ahead and do that real quick so that we can kind of see what we're talking about there. And the point of that is that I think that color-wise, you have some good variation that's leading us to the center, but value-wise, like if we... I'm just going to do this. Like, let's take a look at the luminosity here. And we do that by dropping a black constant over top of it and then using the color. Where's that? There we go. To just look at the luminosity. And what we're seeing is, so it's a little bit brighter here in the middle, but from like here to here to here, the luminosity is roughly the same. So what we want to do is create some more dynamic elements within that. And we do that by starting off with this central area, and I think we can pop that a little bit stronger. Let's take this area, and we can push these levels a little bit stronger. So get that up into like this. Ooh, let's go like that region. And let's go ahead and take this down. Kind of blend in there. And then for everything outside of that, we can let's just go ahead and shift it down. This won't look the best, but it'll give us a rough idea. So something a little bit along those lines. So we can now take advantage of both the, so you can see before and after. So now we can take advantage of both the value and the saturation changes and the hue shifts to really take advantage of that. We mentioned the last time about adding that light to the center of the box. It is really nice. It's just, it's so small that it's creating some really sharp shapes, like these sharp shadows around here. And so yeah, like these sharp shadows in here. Oh, I see, I'm drawing with black. Right in here, this like sharp specular highlight, these sharp shapes up along here, and it's not that flattering. So I think we may want to kill that a little bit. At least soften it. It's nice that we're seeing the brightness inside the box. And like, it's actually just a little bit of making too many complex shapes. So it would be nice to simplify it to just this top-down light. So that might have been a mistake on my part. I do like that you've got this center beam and this outer one. It would be nice if this edge got a little bit more soft, just like a touch, because that line's a little bit harsh. But I love that inner beam. And yeah, I think it's just working out overall really well. And for these lights in the foreground, maybe just stop them so they don't quite get down here. Like allow that area to get dark and just kind of isolate them to up and around here. Really nice shaping in here. This is looking good. Like you got this little pocket of light here, and then allowing some shaping to happen up and down. And I think that's working out really well. So that would be my suggestion going forward. But really, really nice progress. This is coming along well. Holly, this is looking really good. We got first, middle, and last based on the reference, or based on your animation. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, like, it seems pretty consistent. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of, like, noise. I think it's going to work out pretty well. The one thing, is this car moving? It feels like it's in the same spot in each one. It may just be the camera moving, but it would be much more dynamic to see that car moving along, and also to see a little bit more of the tail light back here, and just like a little bit of that spilling. You can shift it a little bit more magenta than it would be, so it doesn't contradict with that light, but just seeing a little bit of spill back there would be nice. And these headlights are a little bit bright. I like the tone of that one a lot. Let's see what else. I mean, other than that, I think this is a good place. I think you're in a good spot to continue forward. One thing is interesting to me is how much. It's funny because I just looked at this, like this region, and I was like, oh, that's too saturated blue. It'd be nice to tone that down. But then I look here, and it's not as saturated anymore, and I'm wondering if something shifted between those two. If you have the ability to shift it, and you can see the same thing here, just a little bit too saturated. I would shift more towards this. I like that value a lot. But yeah, keep going. I think you can continue forward with rendering out the full frame range and seeing where that gets you. So really, really great job. Right. So Keven, we've got your reference here. Just a reminder, and then your updated frame here. Cool. All right. First thing that stood out to me was this ear. The way that it's working here is it's much more of like a rim light kind of coming in from behind. And the way that it's working here is like it's hitting the front of it almost like that way. We really want to just kind of feel that light just kind of hitting down the side here. And just think of it like it's creating like an outline. It's doing a really good job here on the shoulder. We just want to take that and replicate it up the side here. Now, if the position works out, or doesn't work out, I should say, where that isn't possible, it is, it's not ideal, but it's okay. It's possible to create a light that just looks good right there, and then make it a spotlight that only like the edge of the spotlight's like right there, and then put another spotlight up here on his head to get that rimming effect. But I think that you can probably do both, just because I'm looking at it and this light is wrapping around his shoulder a little bit more than I would anticipate. So I think you can pull that back a little bit, and then that'll also give you the nice rim there. It's also feeling very yellow. I think maybe the reference is pretty, yeah, it's pretty yellow too. Yeah, I think you can keep that as is. But the one thing that I mentioned in another critique that you may want to do is the normals on the hair can get a little wonky. You may want to create a new shader where it's just like the brown hair, so you can pick up some of the rim light on this. I was noticing that when I was lighting it myself, that you just maybe want to swap out with a more standard subsurface shader to get that working. In terms of the color overall, let's see. I think that, like looking at the reference, the value feels pretty okay. It's just we're missing that specularity in there, like in here, in this side of her face, and like right around here, and then down the tip of her nose, to really kind of create some more shaping. So you can either go that route. I would actually, if it's me, I would actually push this a little bit, just like a touch brighter and a touch warmer. And if you ignore the ear there, I think something like that could look a little bit better because that'll help pop it off the background. It doesn't specifically match the reference, but I think given the look of our character, I think we can get away with that. Just because it's just like these warm tone CG characters without like realistic specularity on the skin. They just get flat and they just get washed out if we try and push them too cool. So that would be my suggestion there. And yeah, I think that's a good start. I think you can grow from there. And then don't forget, not the biggest of deals, but when you get in there, again, it's just a still, so don't be afraid to paint in some idings. You can do better than this, but like something that, and then you can like blur it a little bit. Not that much. And then like screen them over, and then you actually probably want to add a little color to them. And you can just dial that in, get a little like ding action. Yeah, and I went pure white. That was not great. I would go a little bit more of like this color on their eyes. But yeah, I think really great. I think you're moving along well. So keep going, keep pushing, and you're well on your way. Abhishek, this is looking really great. I think, I wonder, okay, like final notes time here. I would push the background a little bit darker, just overall. That's one. Oh. Maybe a little bit more along those lines. And that way, the reason why we do that is I think that'll really help the character kind of pop forward a little bit more. So like this versus that, it'll just help them read. And because again, like it doesn't matter what's on these posters. They just, erasing the wrong one there. Because they just don't fully, like they don't help us tell the story. So I think we can get away with just focusing it on this character here. If you can, kill that little touch of rim light around his neck. And then, oh wait, one other thing. What the heck was it? Yeah, the hair could use a little bit more shaping up here. Oh, and then the last thing. I was looking at this. Let me look at the original because I kind of darkened it and took it away. But from the original, do you see this black line around the edge here? This is from, we talked about this when we looked at your comp. You've got some buildup of matte edges. So go back through your merge nodes and pay attention to when you're adding both alphas together. If you're ever plussing two alphas together, if you're ever plussing the same image, like two versions of the couch together, you want to make sure to turn off the, in fact, I might actually have one open. So this is a sneak peek here. At the at one of the the presentations for tomorrow. So like basically, like I have. Like, let's do the character here because that'll be a little easier. So you've got like this version of lighting on Adam. So I've got a key light pass, I've got a bounce light pass, and when you combine them, you don't want to combine both the RGBA of both because their alpha channel is exactly the same. And if you're plussing them together, the alpha channel builds on top of it and it like pluses, pluses, pluses. And on those kind of semi-transparent edges, it just layers, layers, layers and becomes solid, solid white. And then you start to get dark or light outlines around things. So watch out for that. Don't do that. Let me see. Okay. And we've got two more here. We've got Dani. So this was more from like the reference from the Joker. So a lot of top-down lighting. And pull this out just so I can. So I pulled this out just a little bit to get a better feel for it. When it's kind of full screen, it's a little too close. And I kind of get taken aback by it. So I like to see this to give myself a little more room. Hair shaders looking good. I like the spotlight here. I really like the shaping on the pants here. It's just his face. It's a tricky face to light from top down. Again, I can show you this one. So this was my key light. And I probably pulled it a little bit too far frontal because I just wanted to get some light in his eyes. But one of the things that I was really, really noticing was that you want to watch out for too hard of shapes, like a too small light, because this character is all soft shapes, right? It's all just like soft cheeks, soft ears, round eyes, round nose, and you want to kind of accentuate that. And if you have a light that's too small, you're going to get like some harder lines in here, and it's not ideal. So I like how this light's hitting this eye. I'd like to see a little more light on the eyes. And then this region in here is just getting like very jet black dark. I would try and bounce that in just a little bit. This is you've done a particularly difficult challenge with this character, which is going off hero color a lot, and both in tone and in value, because he really just wants to be bright and glowy. So I would challenge you to keep pushing it, but just watch out for some of these. Balancing out this gray value on his skin. So let's actually do a mock-up here. Let's try and get this a little bit. So it might be more. Like this with some of this red saturation gone. So yeah, once we get the value into this region here, it starts to feel a little bit better on his skin. But again, what ends up happening is we're just seeing a lot of these sharp shapes right around here. So just watch out for that, again, under his eye. Watch out for the sharp shapes, watch out for the noise and the shadows, and then keep pushing yourself, because I think you've made a lot of progress, and I think it's going well. It's just this is a tough challenge for it, for this type of setup. All right, so Dani, submission here looking good. The color on him. Start with that. The color on him is feeling a little bit too red. So let me go ahead and take him. Because there's two things about it. One, if I'm looking at his skin tone in a bubble, it's too red, and it's also too similar to what we're seeing back behind him. And it would be nice. Let's start with the red. Nope. Maybe something more like in there. And then, so I mean, I like the shot overall. It's just, right now there's too much of a similarity again between him and the background. And I'm trying to think of ways that we can shift that. The one for me would be to brighten him up in the foreground a little bit. Let's see that. Just to get him to read just a little bit more. Like somewhere along that, and now he starts popping off in the background. And then the other thing would be, go ahead and use these lights as a reason to create a stronger rim on him there. And get, maybe not down here, but like up here to really get him to pop off from especially this shape along the back here. And then also like that fire could also reasonably get some more light up in there. You've got good reflection on the eyes, but this central part of the eye, you don't want that getting too low contrast. Like you would want that black pupil part to be a little bit darker, because you really want that to be you don't want their eyes to look milky or like low contrast, like there's cataracts or something. You really want their eye value to be nice and strong and poppy that way. So that would be my advice there. But yeah, overall, I think it's looking really good. And you can also push some of that warmth, like that warm rim, onto some of these other secondary, and like the couch too. So you can either do a little bit of warm rim back here, and then also put a little bit of this light kind of spilling in here, just a touch, just like a small amount. And I think that'll go really well. Okay, I think that is everybody. So let me just hop over, stop sharing my screen, and hop into the Facebook group to see if anybody has any questions or anything. And it looks like we are all good. All right. So thank you guys again for joining me today. I will be posting this to YouTube as well as this Facebook live session. So if you have any questions, you can either add it to the comments down below here or in the comments on YouTube. So thank you guys for joining us today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you tomorrow in our Birds of a Feather session at SIGGRAPH. And I will talk to you all then. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy lighting.